Hello and welcome. Thanks for joining me. I'm Cheryl and this is Your Journey Yoga, and today we are going to work on fascia release. So that fibrous connective tissue that surrounds our muscles, our organs, our tendons, our ligaments. It's a huge interface of soft tissue that when it can get dehydrated or irritated or injured can really wreak havoc on our bodies. So we're going to do a little self-massage. I've got my foam roller here, lots of different variations of foam rollers, so the density that works for you is great. You can start with a very gentle. Generally those are white, blue, a little bit more firm, more dense. Black is a doozy, but I do love my black foam roller. You can also use PVC pipes. I mean, people can get kind of crazy with these things. So the more dense, the harder the what you're using is going to be a deeper, more intense feeling. So whatever you need to do, today we're going to explore the before and after of fascia release. So we're going to do the major components today, the major muscles. So we're going to do our quads, we're going to do our hamstrings, we're going to do our glutes, and we're going to work through our back. And we're just going to kind of play with it and see how we feel now versus how we feel after we do a little self-massage. So starting in a seated position, and just take note, you might already be kind of sore, maybe a little stiff in those hips. You can switch out your seated position however you wish. And we're just going to walk the hands forward. So we're checking in with the hips, we're checking in with the lower back, we're letting the upper body just be heavy. And like I said, we're going to do a before and after check. So we're going to do some stretches, we're going to do some foam rolling, and then we're going to come back to our stretches. Inhale, lift just slightly and walk your hands forward, and release the weight of the upper body down. So if you're new to any kind of fascia release, welcome. It is a game changer. It's amazing. If you're new with stretching, I'm so glad you're here. That too, a game changer. Inhale, circle your hands back by your hips. Big circle of those arms up and overhead. Reach it high. And then exhale, release your hands down by your sides. Inhale, reach it up, and let's twist to the right. Little fingertip tap to the floor. Keep that length in the spine. Inhale, reach, turn back to face front. And exhale, rotate to the left. How do you feel? How is that rotation? Is it fairly tight? Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, release that right hand down, left arm up and over. Keeping those sit bones glued to the earth. How's that lateral flexion? Tight, or are you feeling pretty good? Hopefully you're feeling pretty good. Reach it up and exhale, other side, take it up and over. This is all just our exploration. Inhale, reach it up, both arms reach, and gently release your hands down by your sides, and then switch so the other leg is in front. Sit up nice and tall. Inhale, reach, pull the hands through heart center and walk it out. Relaxing the weight of the upper body down. Now this might feel a little wonky. We generally pick the leg in front that feels the best. So if this does feel a little bit wonky, it's okay. Know that you're in good company. I agree. Inhale, circle the hands back by your hips. Big circle of those arms up and overhead. As you exhale, we turn to the right. Little fingertip tap. How does that feel? Lengthening through the spine. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, we turn to the left. Fingertip tap. Inhale, reach it up. And exhale, release your hands down by your sides. Let's turn and extend those legs out nice and long. So just noticing as we extend the legs, do we need to keep those knees bent? This is a great time you can actually slide that foam roller underneath your knees to give you a little support. Otherwise, I just want you to feel, what does it feel like to have those legs long and to pull those toes back? Sitting up as tall as you can sit, reaching your hands down towards the ground. So this is our staff pose, our 90-degree bend, and then point the toes. And then pull those toes back again. Intense through those hamstrings and the calves? If so, it's okay. Point. And flex. Now, if you're able, keep those feet flexed. Otherwise, just soften those feet and just slowly walk your hands forward. Noticing if and when those knees need to bend, when and if those feet need to soften. If you can keep the toes pulled back, keep them back. Here's another check-in with that lower back, and absolutely through the hamstrings and calves. So super important to stay hydrated. Always a good idea to allow yourself some time during the week, some time during the day if you are so inclined to stretch. Always important to keep moving mindfully. Breathe. Self-care, guys. That's what it's all about. Quality to go with the longevity of life. Eating healthy, taking care, drinking lots of water, and slowly walk those hands back up. Sit up nice and tall. Let's sweep those feet around and come up onto the hands and knees. We're going to bring that right foot forward between the hands and lean in. Okay, so now we feel the hips. We feel, down that front of that left leg. Breathe. Now we're going to check in with those hamstrings again. As you sit your bottom back, lift the right toes, square the pelvis, and draw your nose towards your knee. Lower back, hamstrings, calf. Inhale, transition that weight forward. Hips come heavy. We feel through the front of that left leg, quadricep and hip flexors. And then slowly take it back once again, lifting those right toes, squaring the pelvis, nose towards your knee. And once again, coming forward. Bring both hands to the inside of your foot and let that right knee roll open. Now, you don't have to let it roll open. You can keep it right up next to your shoulder if you'd like. So just listen to what's going on with the hips, with the groin, with the hip flexors. Always keeping that core nice and strong. And gently bring that knee back towards the right shoulder, hand on either side of your foot. And let's switch so we bring that left foot forward between the hands. I'll lean in. Breathe. Get in the front of that right leg. As you exhale, sit your sit bones back, square the pelvis, lift those left toes, and draw your nose towards your knee. Inhale, transition your weight forward once again. That feels good. Right down the front of that right leg. If you're like, oof, wow, that's pretty tight. We just need to know that, right? So that we can deal with that tension, that tightness. Again, sitting it back, square the pelvis, nose towards the knee. Never any judgment, just awareness. Inhale it back, coming forward, bringing both hands to the inside of the foot, leaning into it a little deeper, and then allowing that right knee to roll open. Checking in. How does it feel? Staying strong through the core, lifting out of those shoulders, and just let that knee open as much as it's ready to do. And then slowly draw that knee back in, hand on either side of your foot, stepping it back to a tabletop, a little wider tabletop. Now we're going to take that right knee and slide it through, bringing that right foot to the inside, and allow yourself to sink into your pigeon pose. Let's go ahead and walk those hands forward, coming to our sleeping pigeon. You can extend those arms out nice and long, or you can stack your hands. I just want you to notice what's going on through that right hip. Those hips are kind of one of our usual suspects that holds a lot of tension. The hips have a tendency to hold negative energy. So yeah, it's going to take some time to clear away that negative energy. And let's go ahead and walk those hands up, and we're going to sweep that left foot around, crossing that left foot up and over the right knee. Bring both sit bones to the mat as best you can. Wrap that right elbow around the knee and pull it in nice and tight as you turn, and look out over that left shoulder. Breathe. Adjust however you need to adjust. Work to sit up nice and tall and just breathe. And then slowly, slowly releasing that rotation, sweeping that left leg around. Hand on either side of the knee. We're going to lift just enough to pull that right leg back. Pull that left knee in, left foot to the inside, and we come to our pigeon pose. Walking the hands out, and again, you can extend those arms out nice and long, or you can stack your hands and just gently rest the forehead to the back of the hands. Breathing some love into that left hip. Find your breath. So our stretching is also great at releasing that fascia, but as we add that self-massage, it just takes it to a whole different level. You'll see what I mean in just a few minutes. And slowly walk those hands back up. Come over onto that left hip and sweep that right leg around. Right foot to the outside of that left knee, wrapping that left elbow around the knee. Sit up as tall as you can sit and turn and take your gaze out over that right shoulder, working to get both sit bones down against the earth, noticing that lower back into that right hip, and breathe. And gently release. All right, my friends, grab your foam roller and we are going to slide it underneath our bum. So you're just going to sit on that foam roller, giving yourself plenty of room to the front of the mat and the back of the mat. We're going to cross that right leg if you're able. Otherwise, we're just going to kind of roll to that right side. So coming onto that right glute, that outer glute, if you are able, cross that right ankle over the left knee. Right hand is behind you for support. I like to hold onto my ankle just so I have something to do with my left hand. And as we roll onto that right hip, you're kind of in that glute med area, outer hip, and we're just going to roll side to side, front to back, rocking. Okay, so a little rocking, little rolling. If you find any spots where you're like, yikes, yeah, that's a trigger spot. So there you've got some knotted fascia, some unhappy tissue that needs a little love. Stay there for a second, rock, hold, move again. So it's not about making everything angry, right? Sometimes this work can make you sweat even more than the physical work you do during practice or lifting weights. It's crazy because your body's really working hard to let those knots go and to release that fascia, to let the blood flow get back there and help it move a little more smoothly. And again, rocking side to side. So just play with it a little bit. Notice if it moves. This is not a huge motion. It's just kind of maybe a 2 or 3 inch motion. But it's intense. So we take maybe 8, 10, 12 passes here. Listening to your body, that's the biggest thing. Listen to your body. If it's like, hey, I've had enough, be enough. All right, we come back up, sitting back up nice and tall, and we take it to the other side. Sitting up nice and tall, and we rock it to that left hip. That back arm is behind us. If it feels okay to you, cross that left ankle over that right knee. And again, we're going to take it forward and back. And because it was felt one way on the other side, doesn't have anything to do with this side. So just listen to what's going on. Be nice. Rock it. Roll it. Be nice. If ever you need a sip of water, if you need to take a break, whatever you need to do, this is your time to take care of yourself. You can come all the way up to the top of that glute. Oh, and all the way down to that hip. This actually feels pretty good today. There are some days where you're like, ooh, this is not happening. Hips are not happy. That's when you really just have to listen. So maybe you put a little more pressure on that supporting foot. Maybe you choose a different roller. So different densities, right? Different depths, different intents. So find the one that feels good to you, where you know you're doing something good for your body. You can always hold if you find that trigger spot and just give it a little tiny pulses, not even an inch. You can stay and breathe, close your eyes. So as you learn more and more about yourself and how to use the roller, kind of play with it a little bit and see what feels really good to you, how your body responds. All right, and then we're going to come back up and we're going to roll back to both cheeks. Bring both hands behind you. And we're just going to rock just a little bit right at the top of your buns, below your tailbone, keeping that core strong, chest lifted. And then we're going to slowly walk those feet out and away from us as we come to our lower back, and let your bottom find the mat. We lean back so you're about mid-back. Hands are going to come behind your head. If you need the support, you can keep the hands down. We're going to come up to a little bit of a bridge pose. So you're just going to squeeze your buns and lift your bottom off the mat. And then we slowly let those knees bend even more as we roll down. And then we roll it back. Keep that core engaged. Roll it down, and you can slide your feet out and away from me a little bit more if you want to come lower, or I should say higher, up onto your spine. Now, it's not uncommon to get pops and cracks here. Little realignment. I always hear a little bit of Rice Krispies going on. Just making sure that you're not feeling any kind of pain. Opening up those elbows, let those shoulders come all the way down. And we don't want to get all the way up into the neck. We want to stop kind of shoulder blade, just below the top of the shoulders. But again, you can walk it back a little bit, coming lower into your spine, pulling up a little bit, engaging the core, getting into that thoracic and lower lumbar region of the spine. Make it as big as you want to. Keep it as small as you need to. And again, you can do 10, 12, 15 passes of these. Just again, you don't want to overdo. Really take care of yourself. When you feel that you've had enough, go ahead, use the hands for support and help you come back up. Now we're going to flip and we're going to turn prone. We're going to pull that roller back and come onto the thighs. So I'm going to hold that in place as I come forward into a plank position on my forearms. And I'm going to pull myself forward and then push myself back. I'm going to stop before the bottom of my pelvis, and I'm going to stop before my knees. So I'm just going to transfer that weight. Forward and back, pulling and pushing, keeping my core engaged. Legs are long, but knees are softly bent. And I am just going along the length of the muscle. We're going to cross fiber in just a moment, but right now we're just going right along with the fascia tissue and the muscle tissue. How is it? A little tender. Hopefully it feels pretty good. Now we're going to bend the knees and flex the feet. We're going to open up our legs just a little bit wider, and we're going to rock the feet, the knees, the hips, side to side as we roll up and down. So it's a little tricky on the motion. You'll get it. Just kind of pushing and pulling still as we rock the knees, the feet, the hips. So this is our cross fibering. So we're actually going across the muscle tissue. Oh, the fascia. If you feel ropiness, where it feels like you're kind of going across a chunk of rope, yeah, that's a good indication that you're doing good stuff, that your body really needs this. Now go ahead and bring those legs back together and extend those legs, and let's pull it forward. Oof. And back. Forward. And back. So we're just spending a few minutes here. This is not a long time. This doesn't have to be a huge, tedious process. But the more time you spend, I should say the more consistent you are with the time you do spend, the more you're going to feel this. It's going to help your body stay moving more efficiently, keeping your body a little happier. Let's go ahead and bend those knees once again. Let's do just a few more passes as we cross fiber. And then we're going to move into our IT bands. That's always fun. That's my number one nemesis, my IT band. All right, go ahead. Let's slide on back. Adjust if you need to. So this time we're going to come onto our forearm once again, only we're going to roll to our side. And again, it's important that we want to stay below our pelvis and above the knees. So we're working on that side of the body, all through that upside of your thigh. Okay, so you can bring your top leg forward to help support you. So the more weight you put on that front leg, the less weight that's on the bottom leg. And again, we're going to roll front to back, going the length of the fiber. If you're like that actually doesn't get a whole lot, go ahead and stack your legs. That extra weight of that top leg will get you. And we're just going to go straight, forward and back, using the hands to pull and to push. Remember, stopping before the bottom of the pelvis, stopping before the top of the knee. And then we're going to start to rock that top hip forward and back, cross fibering. Oh my goodness. If this is one of those where you're like, oh, who thought of this? I'm right there with you. But I tell you what, it's a good thing they did, because this is amazing for your body. All right, so this one, a little more intense. Again, you can do this with that foot, the top foot in front, supporting, and just rocking side to side. As many passes as feels good to you, and then we're going to switch sides. So if you need a few more, take a few more. If your body's like, I was done about 5 times ago, it's okay. Laugh it off. Keep smiling. All right, so the other side could be totally different. So again, don't pass judgment on what you felt on that other leg. We're just going to go forward and back. Okay, equally as bad, I have to say. Pulling it forward and back. Apparently, it's been a bit since I have done any foam rolling, and my body is saying thank you, but at the same time, what the heck, where you been? So just that slow, steady roll, forward and back. Again, you can use that top leg for support if this side's a little more tender. Don't want to quite put that extra weight on top. Just be nice. It's the biggest thing. Be nice. Listen to your body. And then we start to add that roll. Up and down, side to side. Little coordination, little mind game, little mind to body connection. All right, so who's ready for those stretches again? We're going to revisit those stretches and hopefully feel a pretty decent change. Let's do one more pass, rocking it, rolling it, and go ahead and come on back up. Off of that foam roller, set it off to the side. Keep it handy in case you need it for that forward fold. Crisscross those legs to easy pose. Inhale, reach it up, pull the hands through heart center, and walk it forward. Releasing the weight of the upper body down. Oh my gosh, night and day difference. I hope you feel it too. Not just for my lower back, but those hips. Inhale, lift just slightly and walk your hands forward a little bit more. And relax the weight of the head down. Inhale, circle the hands back by your hips. Big circle of those arms up and overhead. As you exhale, turn to the left, little tap of the fingertips. Inhale, reach it up. Turn back to face front. And exhale, we turn to the right, little tap of the fingertips. Inhale, back to center. Release that left hand down, right arm up and over, little lateral flexion. Ah, so nice. Inhale, reach and release. Other side. Inhale it up. Both arms reach and release those hands down by your side. Switch so the other leg is in front. Again, not your most comfortable side, but hopefully a little more comfortable than it was. Reach it up. Walk it forward. Release the weight of your upper body. Oh my gosh, what do you notice? Craziness. It's almost just like magic. What a gift. Inhale, lift just slightly, walk your hands forward, and release the weight of the upper body back down. Inhale, circle your hands back by your hips, big circle of those arms up and overhead. As you exhale, turn to the right, little tap of the fingertips. Inhale, back to center, reach overhead, and exhale, turn to the other side, little tap of the fingertips. Inhale, reach. Exhale, release that right hand down, left arm up and over, little lateral flexion on each side. Oh, my body says, yay. I hope yours feeling it too. Inhaling it up, reach, and release, and we turn. Extending those legs out nice and long. Before you grab that roller, take a second. What do you notice? Can you pull those toes back? Hands down by your sides. How do those hamstrings feel? Breathe. Point your toes. And flex. And point. And flex. Keeping those feet flexed as best you can, reach to the sky, and as you exhale, lengthen and hinge it forward. Release your hands, relax the weight of your head, and just slowly walk your hands forward. How far can you reach? Way better. How about that lower back? How about those hamstrings? Great work doing something good for you today. A little self-care, self-love. So great. Inhale, circle those hands back by your hips. Big circle of those arms up and overhead. And then release your hands down by your sides. Let's sweep those feet around. Coming up to a tabletop position. Back your knees off just a little bit. And let's sweep that right foot through. Leaning in. Breathe. Chest is lifted. We're up on the tips of the fingers. How's the front of that left leg? How's that right hip? That right going? A little better. As you exhale, bending that left knee, right toes lift, square your pelvis, draw your nose toward your knee. Hamstring seems a lot happier. More agreeable to the stretch. Inhale, we come forward once again, bending that right knee. And exhale, sit it back. Square the pelvis, nose towards your knee. Inhaling it back forward. And lift those hips enough to sweep that right foot back. Left foot comes in and we lean in. Stretching down the front of that right leg. Still a little tender, but feels better. Left hip much better. As you exhale, sit it back. Lift your toes, square your pelvis. Nose towards your knee. Inhale, come forward once again. Bending that left knee. And again, we sit it back. Checking in, squaring the pelvis. Inhale, transition that weight forward once again. And we lift that left knee. Let's slide that right knee through and come to pigeon pose. Relaxing the weight of the upper body. Head's heavy. Great change. I hope you feel it as well. And then go ahead and walk those hands back up. Sweep that left leg around. Left foot crosses in front of the right. We wrap the crook of that right elbow around the knee. Sit up as tall as you can sit. And turn and look out over that left shoulder. Find your breath. Gently releasing that rotation. Sweeping that left leg back. And we pull it back to tabletop. And sweep that left knee through. Foot to the inside. And let's walk it forward. Back to that pigeon, sleeping pigeon. Checking in with that left glute, left hip. Finding your breath. And let's slowly walk it back up. Come over onto that left hip. Come to easy pose. Crisscross those legs. I hope that that was a journey, an adventure, and a fun little holy cow, the difference that that foam roller can make, that spending just a little bit of time on yourself, the difference that that can do for your body. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Take care of yourself, be well, and thank you so much for tuning in. Until the next time, my friends, light, love, and namaste.